Hello, my fellow ordinary people living on planet Earth. Have you ever saw someone of the same sex and thought, "Holy Jolly Roger, I can be a negative antecedent," before turning bisexual, before realizing that you've used your partner of the opposite sex the whole time just to make yourself seem like you're worth something in life, before dumping them like the Nintendo console your dad choked down on the 405 freeway, before turning gay/lesbian? But then you realize you could go even further than that and decided to get shoe raisin sandwiches so you could turn into a different gender? Well, I've got some news for you. You could either do that boring normie crap and turn into the opposing binary gender, or you could log right onto the Gender Wiki and decide to identify yourself as one of those 266 genders they've got in store. They've got so many genders waiting at your doorstep. Hell, not even the more realistic Sexuality Wiki could even come close to their freaking numbers. LGBTQ+, more like LGBTQ+, the fact that we're too lazy to fit 266 letters in our freaking name, so we'll just stick to the lame ones instead. My name is Johnny Screwball, and I found out about this site after crying myself to sleep over the deleted Troll Pasta Wiki, which stores many of the horrible yet amazing online campfire stories to tell my friends at 3 a.m. And I have to say, this is a much more enjoyable experience than reading the cult classic Rouge.exe.
Attacking them in Eat Them to in Sonic Laughing, I said, go by Amy and Sally start. Laughing again, so me I got so scared. How they kill Amy and Sally that are good.
Although I'm a white, alt-right, American cisgender, evangelical, homophobic, misogynistic male, as the BuzzFeeds refer to me, I do believe that everybody could do whatever they want to do without being judged. The Gender Wiki is one of the prime contributors of that, allowing for a peaceful, inclusive community of people ruthlessly trying to bring down the bigoted so-called patriarchy. And they're right in doing so, because from their opinions, even I sexually identify as a straight jacket in an asylum. The most fascinating part about the Gender Wiki's ideologies, similar to communities like Tumblr and even Polygon, is that they believe discrimination represents the work of the devil. You may be criticizing the idea of 266 plus genders, but at the end of the day, your mansplaining/fussing against their ideology still closely resembles the work of the devil, and you will, without a doubt, get labeled a transphobe and a gender shamer, which is, without a doubt, worse than racism, anti-Semitism, and doorknob shaving combined. If you want me to stop stating shameless PR ameliorating facts and start taking you on this tour through this fantastic forum, then fear not. I will guide you on the correct pathway to heaven instead of that road that takes you past 12 outdoor strip clubs or something. Who cares? Let's go. To give you a small taste of how incredibly remarkable these genders are, I'm just gonna start this off by reading the most prideful, charismatic ones right off the bat, cause why not? You can identify yourself as transcontinental, vape gender, and despacito gender. Hey, wait a second! Those aren't real genders, they're just genders to poke fun of. Oh, you need to be put in solitary confinement, young man. I don't give a full-blown ass crack if this is for giggles. If I don't find this funny, then this has to be some neo-Nazi fan fiction. No, this isn't the best page on the entire wiki, and it was actually pretty enjoyable to look through. No, this is a transphobic attack on all the freaking trans people out there who suffer through years and years of mental torture, fear, and discrimination from all the mainstream genders. Why even pander to the mainstream audience? It's just a bunch of capitalistic donkeys. Alright everybody, change of plans. Let's just start off with the lame and disgraceful gender to the trans community, and we'll just work our way up. The one transaction with a 100% chance of ruining the pride of the Gender Wiki is bi-gender. Who cares if half of these people are just in an existential crisis trying to figure out if they're better off male or female? We might as well just delete the frickin' bi-gender page off of the wiki, similar to how the Creepypasta Wiki does it, so we could show that we expect the best from the genders and stay away from binary pandering. Alright, let's move on to the fun stuff.
Feel to be the same sex as Donald Trump.
Androgen is a well-gifted gender that actually splits into 5 different genders that you can freely choose from. You think that something like mask androgen and femme androgen are truly rebellious ways of describing males and females, but you've definitely got some screws loose in your brain, because these people are clearly not part of the binary tradition. A pora gender is a very prideful gender according to the writer, and they're right. A lot like androgen gender, it really emphasizes the fact that these people have both male and female qualities, except for the fact that it also has everything in between. Now, if you haven't heard of agender, it definitely doesn't sound contradictory, and it makes sense. Try to guess a definition. Here, I'll give you a few seconds. Congratulations, you are correct. It is, in fact, no gender at all.
Now that's what
How
this is all
wonderful.
about.
Neutrois, if that's how you pronounce it, is a gender revolving around the word neutral. So if you're extremely passionate with your goal to not care about anything the world has to offer, then this would be your best choice. If you have a big thing for culture and tradition, well, fear not, because Two-Spirit, Hydra, and Bisu can help you racially and sexually identify as a non-white. I'm keeping that in. How do you pronounce that? Hira? If you have a big boy case of Klinefelter syndrome or are a complete hermaphrodite, then you don't even have to be transgender. You're already part of the intersex community, and it definitely isn't part of the male and female Injustice League. Okay, this next one seems a bit boring. Maverick is a gender that blatantly disobeys the laws of humankind. These rebellious people reject every aspect of physical limitations and go, quote, beyond the entire scope of the gender binary or any identities within and outside of it. So if you want to join the rebellion against all the medical sounding genders that make you oppressed, then go ahead and join the Lee Gang, I mean the Mavericks. Foxkin Super Queer is a person who spiritually identifies themselves as an animal. I mean, nobody in this world is dumb enough to believe that animals have binary genders, right? It's common knowledge. Gender fluid describes a person whose gender rapidly changes back and forth like a naughty baby, and it does not require any surgery. It just happens naturally. It even has its own freaking timeline to determine whether people should be male or female. I mean, wow, very thoughtful. Wait a sec, there's a non-binary wiki too? Genderception is a gender with a 3-sentence description for excessively free-spirited people who can customize their gender to whatever they want at whatever time, just like Christopher Nolan's Inception. We unfortunately don't have that much time in our hands to present every single gender the Gender Wiki has to offer, so I'll just name off some of these unironic, I mean cool ones so you could search through yourself. There's star gender, ego gender, Tetris gender. Oh my god. 3.5 gender, yin yang ren, gender, a gender, super demi androgen masculine feminist agender fluid fucks. Oh, I was so close. I just screwed it all up, didn't I? Damn! Our last gender we have to offer you is this thing called demigender. Demigender answers a hard-hitting fact that not all men are masculine and not all women are feminine. It's much more common than you think. In fact, you may be living the life of a demiguy/demigirl your whole life without anybody telling you. I might as well just tell a person that definitely agrees with me that he's a demiguy himself. Okay, just one more Danny DeVito to complete my Danny DeVito pyramid. My lord. Hello? You represent the definition of a demigender man. You lack the masculine qualities of sleeping with your mother, picking up girls by harassing them, and wishing death to the gays. Therefore, you must be a demiguy. Oh my god. Johnny, I do not have the slightest clue what you're talking about, but I'm assuming you're wrong. But you admit to being a soy boy. Yeah, so? You listen to Europop and even sing to it. Oh my gosh, the music is not a pop band. I've told you this before. It's an indie rock band. Can you please stop? You genuinely dislike rap music. I said stop. You have a serious grudge against your masculine fun. Can you please shut your autistic Scientologist mouth up? Holy crap. Look, there are people out there that will brainwash you to death with their insane outlooks on life. And I could tell what you've been doing, browsing that crazy side of Tumblr and all that. It's pretty obvious. I may not care as much about the whole "there are only two genders" fiasco, but I could say this. Your gender does not equal your identity. You do not have to get labeled something to prove that you are in fact different from everybody else. The reason why wiser people become transgender in the first place are not because they don't match their gender stereotypes and don't fit in with everybody else, but because they are 100% sure, despite everything they've done in the past, that life would be better off if they changed who they were entirely. And as of today, I would find it extremely unlikely that someone would find non-binary people living better lives, especially with how toxic and spiteful the community is. Also, regarding the whole demi-gender thing you were telling about earlier.
There is a difference between personality and gender, you freaking invalid.